2-0 win in the bag. 3 points in the bag. Barça, here we come. PSG go and win 2-0 at home against 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙼𝙎 in a, what I got to go and say, quite honestly, is a pretty uneventful game. PSG didn't really have to force anything. Got the 2-0 win. My prediction was 3-1. Nice and easy. This feels like a average, middle of the pack, nothing crazy in the Ligue 1 game. PSG didn't play great. PSG didn't play poor. We were somewhere in the middle there. But today, this game was one of them where it's the most important thing is get the 3 points, celebrate Dembele's Ballon d'Or, and you move. And obviously, you would have wanted, no injuries, this, that, and the other. But we'll get on to that. But overall today, not much else to say. To get on to talk about the game itself, obviously, as stated, 2 goals by 2 defenders. 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙼𝘎 in the 32nd minute, getting his first goal under PSG colors, and Lucas Beraldo getting his goal in the 54th minute, getting, I think, his 4th goal and whatnot for the club. 2 goals from 2 center backs, 2 goals coming from short, taken, corner kick set pieces. Dang. PSG are turning into set piece FC. I think Arsenal rubbed us up the wrong way. And honestly, yeah, apart from that, from open play, we didn't really create all that much. Obviously, PSG were better, most of the possession, 1.56 XG, 15 shots, 8 shots on target, 4 big chances created. But 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙼𝘎 also had their chances. They had 12 shots, 3 shots on target, 1 big chance created. It was a controlled, measured win by PSG today. Nothing crazy. PSG weren't great. I think Beraldo got the man of the match today, or at least on Farm here was rated with an 8.7. Nothing crazy today. 𝙬𝙬𝘼𝙎 did have to make a couple key saves. Had a crazy save off of a 𝙬𝙬𝘼 he tried to play out of the back, tried to chip it, played right in front of his own D. I don't know what he was doing. Luckily, Chevalier was there, made an excellent save. There was also another chance where Lucas Beraldo literally gave away the ball right in front of his own 18. Luckily came back and got the tackle. So we weren't even great defensively today. It's just that 𝙬𝙬𝘼, simply lacked the quality to go and punish us severely enough. But then, yeah, other than that, I think the more important things and the bigger aspects here are the fact that we had Vitinha, who came off. Again, here on FOTMob, they're not showing it, but seemingly came off because of an injury. And 𝙬𝙬𝘼𝑎 also came off, at halftime. We don't really know much about him. I went and I had a lot of people in my chat asking me, is this an injury, so on and so forth. Vitinha, maybe, as in, I heard or whatnot that, Hakimi is getting ready or getting warmed up in 16th minute and whatnot. He went, got the assist for the goal and then came off literally 2 minutes later. So maybe it was something underlying. Maybe he got injured during the game. I really don't know. I'm hoping for, obviously hoping for the best. Hopefully it was something that it was just a little thing that it was precautionary and that something was bothering him and he didn't want to, risk it for the Barca game coming in, a couple of days time. For 𝙬𝙬𝘼𝙎, I didn't see anything. I don't remember. I know he got tackled, but there was nothing that, seemed to be extremely glaring at then. Nothing at least that was screamed injury and whatnot. So again, you also hope that he's okay because, if PSG need to go into this Barca game without Vitinha, without 𝙬𝙬𝘼𝙎, without Doué, without Dembele, without João Neves potentially, Fabian Ruiz is, coming back into fitness. Voilà, les gars, ça va être compliqué. It's going to be difficult, but we'll have to wait and see, wait for any medical updates on the team. And we'll have to wait and see. Doué, obviously today didn't play any part in the game, so I'm thinking that for Barca, best case scenario, he comes off the bench. Barcola today came off the bench today, so didn't start. He's obviously coming back from a little niggling injury. A bunch of question marks here today. Yeah, there's not really much to say about the game itself. Speaking of the performance overall, what I will say is the team overall today. Again, it was an average. I'd say 7.3. It was a 7 out of 10 performance. Nothing crazy. The performance, it was a meh game. He didn't really do much. Chevalier, I thought, was good. Made a couple of good saves, specifically. The 2 here that this one, came in pretty late. This is the Barney one. Was a really, really, really good save. But apart from that, was calm with the ball at his feet. And you really are seeing the difference between him and Donnarumma, especially the fact that, yes, Donnarumma did improve with the ball at his feet, but when you gave the ball to Donnarumma, your options were a bit limited. He's not the player who's going to, take an extra time, wait, be able to, absorb more pressure and then pass it at the last moment. Yes, it's more risky, but it also breaks more lines and whatnot. He's not that type of player Donnarumma was, but whereas 𝙎𝙬 is. And yes, obviously people go and say, oh, but he made those mistakes, against Marseille, against Spurs in the Super Cup. But again, if you guys actually watch PSG week in, week out last year, you'd see Donnarumma made those exact same mistakes last year. So that's why I'm going and saying it's like, let's not rewrite history. Let's not make it seem as though Donnarumma was his perfect keeper for his entire stint at PSG. If that was the case, he would still be a PSG player today. But apart from that, the back line today, the two center backs, obviously, you could argue potentially player of the games, even though they had mistakes of their own. 𝙬𝙾 obviously getting his first goal under PSG colors, did have a couple of loose passes, didn't really have much to do defensively. Apart from that, had 8 defensive contributions. Wasn't crazy defensively. If you go and you look at Beraldo, same thing here. In his case, though, he did have the most passes. He actually looked good. Attempted some pretty crazy passes, in fairness, which didn't come off, weren't pulled off. But hey, it's the thought that counts. Other than that, he was pretty good. Lucas Hernandez, at this point, like Lucas Hernandez, I'm sorry, as unfortunate as it may seem, he is just a league earned player, which as in, it seems like, of course, he plays, but no, as in like, I think his level is the upper echelons of a big league earned game, not much more. Like, I'm not sure if I can go to war with a Lucas Hernandez, even against like, a Monaco, a Marseille, a Lyon, routinely. I think there is such a chasm, a gap between him and Nuno that in fairness, again, he's coming back from his injury, but at this point, you're talking about an injury that happened over a year ago. He's been back now in the team. He's not looked convincing. I don't know. I feel like now at this point, he's probably better off just playing as a center back, but we've got decent center back depth at this point. So, yeah, I don't know. I think he's a player who, yes, you put him in the smaller league games, but at this point, this idea of having him in for big league games and Champions League games, forget it. Like, I cannot go to war with Lucas Hernandez in a Barça tie, a big tie like that. Not anymore. I think the Lucas Hernandez of that first year at PSG, I'm not sure if we'll be able to reach that. And the thing is, it's not like he's massively. He's 29 years old. He's not crazy old either. I don't know. I think at some point, probably we can't offload him. Obviously, over the winter, but I think in the summer he needs to go. 𝙎𝙬𝘾𝘼 today, obviously, he was right back to start off the game, but very shortly in the 30th minute, obviously, when Vitinha came off, you had 𝙀𝙬𝘾 come on, and 𝙀𝙀𝙾 took that spot, and 𝙎𝙬𝘾𝘼 came back in the midfield. He was, again, okay today, looked a lot better than certainly in the Marseille game, was a lot more lively, much more impactful in the game, but still not the Warren 𝙎𝙬𝘾 that we saw of 2 years ago. Tanguy Lee today, for me, he's just not doing enough. He'll go, like, he's very hot and cold. He gets, minutes, he played 80 minutes today, came off later on, but just doesn't do enough when he's in the midfield there. Like, he's not the Kang that I feel like we were promised when he came initially from Mallorca. He's not really dribbling. He's not really taking people on. I think at times he doesn't make the correct decisions. But again, it's some of the man game. It's not terrible. Like, he's a good player to have in your squad, but he's not somebody, again, that you go and you say that, oh, if he comes off the bench, I'm fine. And then 𝙬𝙬𝘾, I thought 𝙬𝙬𝘾 today was actually pretty good. That really good. One thing I really am beginning to see with 𝙬𝙬𝘾, though, is that he's extremely ambidextrous. He's really good with both feet, which is really good. Even just dribbling, he's really, at ease, comfortable dribbling with both his left foot and his right foot, can, unleash cannons with his left foot and his right foot. He's extremely flexible, can play anywhere in the top front three. He can play in midfield. Honestly, at this point, and obviously we mentioned Warren previously, I think potentially in Luis Enrique's eyes, I think that Seny 𝙬𝙬𝘾 has gone ahead of Warren, and especially considering the fact that both players are the exact same age. It's really interesting. I think that 𝙬𝙬𝘾 has gone ahead of him in the pecking order at PSG, which, for better or for worse, is what it is. And I think, if anything, he's probably more likely to go and make it into the French national team over Warren 𝙎𝙬𝘾. But again, we have to wait and see everything in due time. And we'll have to say 𝙬𝙑𝘾 today obviously came off. Again, another 𝙬𝙑𝘾, I don't know. I was asked this, especially in my live, of, why does 𝙬𝙑𝘾, why doesn't he turn up in the Ligue 1 games, but he's, all of a sudden there for the Champions League games? Honestly, je ne sais pas. I don't know. Again, today he just didn't do enough. I'm not sure, did he even attempt any dribbles here today? In fairness, 3 out of 5, so decent. I don't know. I just didn't find him really all that impactful. Afterwards, in the second half, 𝙭𝙗 came on and subbed him on. 𝙭𝙗, again, the issue was the finishing. He had one chance where he sent through on a breakaway by an excellent pass by Warren 𝙎𝙬𝘾. And his touch, he was a bit nonchalant, and his touch got away from him. And it should have been a chance that he should have buried, but he couldn't. And then Ibrahim Mbaye, But today, again, it was sort of it was a better performance from him today. A lot better than in previous games. But you can still very much see that he's extremely raw. Oftentimes will make the wrong decision. There was a couple of times where he was losing the ball in midfield. I think, which is okay. I mean, this guy, not every player is Lamine Yamal, where at 17, 16, they're able to do all these things. He's a player who is going to have to grow, is a player for the future, and I think is a player that we need to go and give time. And you could argue that, this mini injury crisis brewing at PSG is almost sort of to his benefit, because it means that he's going to get minutes and opportunities to show himself in the year. But again, he's not a player that I would go and feel, at ease with going into, a Champions League game against basically anybody, let alone Barça coming up on Wednesday. And then finally, to round it off, Gonçalo Ramos. And at this point, I'm done. And it says over here, Gonçalo Ramos had the least touches with 33 of any outfield player to play 90 minutes. I think this Gonçalo Ramos experiment needs to end. I've been generally a fan of Gonçalo Ramos. I think he's a profile that we don't have at PSG. He's a striker. He's a traditional number 9 who will do traditional number 9 type things at the club. And he's very good coming off the bench. I think he's equaled like the Mbappe's, rate of, the all-time PSG top goal scorer coming off the bench, which is really good. His ratio coming off the bench is crazy. The issue is that then when he goes and you give him a starting role, you allow him to start a game, he's not all that yet. He's not all that good. He leaves a lot to be desired. And when I mean a lot to be desired. Today, touches going astray, passes going astray, wrong decisions, not making the correct runs. Like it's fair to go and say that at times, he's not being served and whatnot, but he's also not really making himself available. I feel like there's a cohesion with all the other players, and then with him, it just breaks. He's just the one missing puzzle piece that does not fit in. And I think at this point, you need to cut your losses and let him go. I mean, there were rumors apparently that over the summer he was interested in leaving and that, the club wanted to potentially sell him, but it's just that the club was wanting to sell him for too much. And this is where I have to go and say that, listen, at some points, you just have to cut your losses. We bought him for 70 mil. We are never going to be able to, sell him for that much. If you can find somebody at, 40, 50 mil, if you're pushing it, go and sell him on. Because the thing is, he still does have a lot of potential. He's, pretty young still at what? He's 24. He's not crazy old either. But I just don't think that for PSG and for what PSG do, I just do not think that he's good enough. And I think we need to let him go. We need to cut our losses. If we do, PSG don't necessarily need, if we were to get another striker going and splashing, 100 mil on Julian Alvarez, much better than going and trying to go and make something out of Gonçalo Ramos. The only thing is, like, outside of PSG, I think he'd do really well. I just don't think that this Lucho style suits him. I think that when we got Gonçalo Ramos, he wasn't a Lucho signing per se. He was signed sort of before Luis Enrique had come officially, or sort of, it was not the last moment. So Luis Enrique didn't really have his input on the signing. I think you can see it. He just doesn't feel comfortable enough to go and bring him in. He'll go and score like he scored against Atalanta. He'll come and score in the league, so on and so forth. But when he's given his opportunity to start, Dembele's gone, Doué's gone. This is the moment where he says, okay, I can take this by the brine and really go and show that I deserve to have a more impactful role, if not start for this team. And then you get performances like this. So I know unfortunately I'm off the Gonçalo Ramos train. He's been a good servant at the club. He's never heard any issues with him. He's not complaining and whatnot. But sometimes not every player is right for every single club, and I think that's the case. But overall, that's basically it. There's not really much else to go and address there. PSG get the job done. We go on to Barça. We cross our fingers that, the Kvara and Vitinha coming offs were just, routine. It was just load management and nothing serious. And hopefully they will be fit and ready to face Barcelona on Wednesday. But anyways, guys, that is it for today. Thank you guys very much for listening and tuning into this video. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you to everybody who was on the stream. And remember, stay safe, stay kind, and stay blessed. Godspeed.